Good afternoon. I'm going to explain how to obtain your error list from midterm one and then use the accompanying blurb file uh, in order to plan out your review for the final exam. So let's take a look at um, first the error lists and then we'll get to the blurb files. Okay, if you go to your grades page and look at your midterm one grade, right here, you'll see a little icon over to the right, a little message icon. And that is where I have pasted in your error message, and everybody has their own. Okay, I did about 200 and something error messages over the past day. And they're all in there for everybody that took the test. So you click on that little icon, and it pops out your actual error message, and it says, in this case, John Q student, here's your midterm one error list. And then after that, excuse me, is a list of code numbers. First one is 8784, then 8789 in this case. And those are the code numbers for each of the questions that you got wrong on midterm one. All right. And um, so that is what you want to look at. And after you get your error message, however long it is, then you correlate it to the blurb file, to each question in the blurb file. So let's take a look at that now. All right. How do you get the blurb file? All right. There's a page for it. Here's the link. I put it right at the top of the mission control page, right next to syllabus and schedule page. All right. So the blurbs page link is there. And just click on that and you'll be able to download a PDF that looks like this. Okay, now let me get a little close up on that. All right, so on one side you've got your error list, you write it down or you print it out or something. And then you also have your blurb file. And this is the top, I don't know, 2/3 of the first page of the blurb file. And what you see is down the right-hand column, the key 8073, 8074, and so on and so forth. And next to that is a blurb about that question. All right. Now, 8783 was about the Kepler telescope, searching for exoplanets, and so on down the list. And the blurb sheet for this one is all of one page and then a little bit of the second page. So, and you'll see it when you download the PDF. All right. So then you go over to your blurb, or you go over to your error list and you say, okay, 8784. Okay, what was that one about? And look on the blurb file and you'll see it was about Aristotle and heliocentric observations. All right, now remember, this is not verbatim of the question. We don't do that. I don't hand out the test. Uh, but this is sufficient for you to study for the final, because you won't be getting the same question anyways. I mean, so it's not like, a big deal, but it'll give you, one of the topics that you should review. You got it wrong. Make sure you review before the final. In case you get something like that on the final, you'll get it right. All right, so there's 87, 84. The next one, 87, 89. That's down here. The comparison of a circle to an ellipse. 87, 95. That one's down at the bottom of the list. So it's off the page here. So I'll just make an arrow down there. 8796. All right, that one's about planetary orbits in our solar system, and so you can see a pattern here. 8789 and 8796 are both about orbits. So so that may key you to say to yourself, okay, on the final, I better make sure I double review about orbits and ellipses and stuff like that. All right. Let's see, 8799. that's spectral lines from a tube of pure hydrogen gas. So you and those are pretty. That's a pretty important question, pretty important concept. Those quantum fingerprints. And for that, you want to double check your notes, of course. If you've looked at the diffraction YouTubes, um, one of which is linked to the mission control page for the first 2 weeks of the semester before midterm one. So you can go back and review that. All right, so this is the basic method for using the error list from the grades page and the blurb sheet. All right, so you study this, you study this, you review this concept before the final, and so on and so forth. All right, so that's how you use the blurb sheets and the error lists. And if you still have questions, post a question in discussions, give it a good descriptive title, click the allow threaded replies and allow liking boxes, and post a question about spectral lines from hydrogen, or what's the deal with Aristotle and heliocentric observations, etc., etc. All right, do some reading and or come to office hours and pepper me up with questions. That's fair game in office hours. Right, so there's a lot of ways to use this, and if you do use that, you'll find it a little bit easier to get a good grade on the final.